Alrighty, folks, you have heard it. Rents are crashing in Texas, Austin, DFW. But you know what? In the One Rental at a Time community, we don't believe the headlines. We talk to investors in the market. So we're going to talk with Brandon, who's invest in the DFW area, and we're going to find out, are rents truly crashing or what's happening on the ground? Brandon, thank you for being here, man. How you doing?
Thank you, Michael. Thank you for having me here.
Absolutely, buddy. Well, you do a lot in the DFW area. Let's remind people what you do for your business, and then we'll talk about rents. What does Brandon do in case someone doesn't know?
Sure. Yeah, I do the build to rent model, but I also have a property management company that manages properties. Right now, we've got about 70, 75 owners all across the DFW area. So I've got a
Very
good
cool.
pulse of what's going on in most of the DFW area.
Very cool. Well, if you believe the headlines and the doomers, people are talking about 10, 20% rent crashes. But what's really happening on the ground? Are rents soft because of all the new units and competition, or what's going on?
I would say yes, they are soft, and we're seeing, and it's even in Dallas Fort Worth is a big
Yeah.
geographic area. So what may be going on north of Dallas is not exactly the same west of Fort Worth. But I would say as an average, what we're seeing is between 5 and 10%.
Hmm.
But
Okay.
there is some regional that is a little bit more.
Okay.
And it's
Yeah.
because, go ahead.
The question I have about rentals all the time, because again, I'm not, so just to be clear, I'm not a Texas investor. I'm just a guy that looks at real
Yeah.
estate almost every day. And what I see in rents is a lot of the competition is coming from new apartments. I had read somewhere where DFW had something like 50,000 units hit the market.
Yes,
I'm going to get,
50,000.
wow, 50,000. So I'm going to guess a lot of that was Class A apartments, just again, a guy's guess.
Yes.
And, even with you have a growing area like Texas and Dallas, that's a lot of units to land in a short period of time. And that's going to create competition, move-in specials, half off deposits, all of that. But where I'm going with this question is, are you seeing a difference in rent units versus houses?
I am. Yes, I would agree. There is a slight difference depending on the area. Because
Okay.
we've got stuff in north, it would be for us is Collin County, which is north of Dallas. We've had some big explosion of rental housing subdivisions. Those are suffering. But what I'm seeing west in the Fort Worth, the housing rentals seem to be a lot more stable and the decline is not as bad. It really is so specific to the area. And what I was preparing my owners even a year and a half ago, thanks to what all we have been talking about, Lance Lambert has been talking about, I was sending out newsletters. I do that quarterly for
Nice.
my owners. And I was writing newsletters about this literally a year and a half ago, preparing them that, hey, we're going to have about 50,000 new units coming online. Prepare for that, knowing that and we're seeing it come 26, 27. Yeah. I'm seeing the decline of new stock coming on. It's getting absorbed.
Yep.
And it will stabilize.
It's funny you bring that up because I follow Ken McElroy. Ken McElroy has had truthfully some horrible residential housing calls. It's not where he should play, but he's an amazing multifamily investor. And I would argue he's a GOAT of multifamily investing. And he's been very clear with me, both on record and off. He's putting money to work in Texas.
He is. But he was talking about it, the same thing, not just Lance. You're right. Ken was talking about this 2 years ago also.
Yeah. And the key is, we absolutely had, I guess you would call it the pig through the python, 50,000 units hitting. They're hitting now, but there's nothing behind it.
You're right.
And that's why you see guys like Ken McElroy going into Texas when all the fear mongers and doomers are like, it's over, the world's ending. You're going to have a vacant apartment building. Come on, guys. Dallas is still growing. I mean, it just makes no sense to say.
They describe collapses. They're trying to create fear of 50%, whatever their number is. We're seeing 5, 10%. Yeah. It is already, and I anticipate in the next quarter going forward, it will stabilize and begin growing again, because DFW is still growing 100,000 people a year. So we're also absorbing that.
Wow. Yeah.
So, and one thing I don't think anybody's talked about that I see happening even in the last week and a half, let's just talk about the rate drop. I was getting, so why I got into property management was to know I was going to have rentals, to go a vertical integration, to have a pulse on the entire system. That is
Makes
really
sense.
why I did what I did.
Makes sense.
So, what I was getting calls, and it stopped about a week and a half ago. I was getting usually 2 calls a week of people that couldn't sell their house, converting those to rentals. So we not
Interesting.
only had the 50,000 new units, you had a percentage, don't know exactly what that would be, but if I'm getting 2 calls a week,
Yeah,
everybody else is probably getting something similar.
for
So
sure.
you not only had the 50,000 coming online, you had a lot of these sales that couldn't sell, converting them into accidental rentals for these
Yeah.
owners. I think that's stopping with the rate coming down and the change in the market. I agree, we're bouncing off the bottom. I
Yeah.
saw it in 2011, 2012. I watched the bounce when I was in the real estate sales side. We're in that spot right now.
I
So I
agree.
don't anticipate we'll have a lot of those I can't sell it, or they're going to be less of them converting them into rentals over the next coming months, which was additional inventory. So
I
that's
think
going to
I
take
think
a
that's a very cool catch because again, I think what we've seen is a lot of what I'll call wish pricing. And when you have wish pricing on an asset, you only have a couple of options, right? You could take it off the market, you could
yes.
sell it at a significant discount, or you convert it to a rental. And you're right. I do think there was a lot of people that became accidental landlords just because it made sense. It was the right financial decision. They came out ahead turning a formal home into a rental unit. And you're
They were
right.
looking at, because I had these conversations. I tell them we're both choosing each other, and I'm asking lots of questions. What is their situation? I'm trying to determine, most of them were losing money. So they were choosing, okay, I'll only lose $200 a month
Mm,
versus 20 or 30,000, because these were the
okay.
ones that bought in 22, 23.
Right at the peak. Yeah.
That's the group that I was talking to. So I was trying to help that group decide what's best for them. I wasn't just going to take somebody for me. I really
Yeah.
wanted to give them good counsel. What would be the optimal thing, and try to help them whichever way that was. But
That's
that was a
awesome.
segment that we did have coming into the rental market.
Mhm.
So what I have done and what I've counseled my owners, I wrote the article. This was 60 days ago, saying, okay, we're getting out of that period where these rental units are doing these new properties 1 and 2 month concessions. That is starting to be fully absorbed.
Yep.
Come fourth quarter and going forward, it will completely stabilize and begin growing again, because
Mm,
that stuff has been absorbed, plus the 100,000 in growth. So
yep.
there is hope. And then one other thing I thought of, you talked about it even this morning, and I wanted to bring it. So all of us that own assets, we also have refi opportunities to lower our payment, and we
Yep.
can get back to the same cash flow positive, almost the same number, maybe even better. We're going to have the opportunity to refi maybe 1.5% lower.
Yeah.
We're going to be back in the same cash flow position as 2 years ago because we own the assets.
Yep.
We can refinance. So there is many levers at this.
Well, there's a third lever. Like again, this doesn't apply to anybody that bought in the last couple of years, but we know a lot of people in our community, right? One rental at a time that bought 5 years ago.
Yes.
Those people are sitting on mountains of equity. And some of those people are now sub 50% LTV. A lot of those people are in growth mode. And you know what? We're about to see a lot of people do cash out refis to 70% LTV, very conservative, and go shopping again.
Yeah, they're going to
So
redeploy that
yeah,
equity,
just
and then which is
recycle.
going to prop up the values. It's the winners are the asset owners.
Bingo. Bing, 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 bing.
Every which way, they are the winners. What I will say, one thing I did during this period, because I experienced it too, and I would share that with the owners. This is not just me telling you. They appreciate that I'm an owner also, and I live it the way they do.
Yeah.
I worked on a property, which is one of the things I'm going to even show at the ORAD event when I speak.
Nice.
I did a little bit of upgrade, and what we all teach is the value of reserves. And
Yes.
what I see with the owners that don't have reserves, they can't make these choices because they don't have the money. I
Yep.
had reserves. So I took some of that capital and I upgraded a couple of little small things. I made the curb appeal because this was my very first purchase.
Mm-hmm.
You learn, this is about, you got to get in the game because you learn so much on the first couple of purchases. I upgraded, gave it better curb appeal because it didn't have it.
Yeah. Yeah. And curb appeal is important. Again, I write about it in my book, One Rental at a Time. That's what people see first, right? You got to get the car. You got to get the car to stop.
And what we always teach, the first showing is online.
Yes.
The
Correct.
second showing is at the property.
Correct.
So we make sure it's got good curb appeal. I added some shutters. I'll explain. I'll give you costs. So I repainted the front, added some shutters,
Beautiful.
and it had too much concrete. So I soft-scaped with some opportunity.
Makes sense.
And then one other thing, I only share it in this group, literally. I have only sharing this here because I believe in our group.
Yep.
I put in an EV plug. There's a reason. This is
what did that cost? I've never done that. What's that cost?
For here, it was $600.
Oh, geez. No brainer.
So here's the story. So I add the curb appeal. I add the EV plug. Why I'm doing it. So in the last 2 years alone, there's been almost 1.3 million EVs sold. Mm-hmm. Now, before that, of course, it's less than 1 million, but we've got millions of EVs on the market, and renters are desperate trying to find apartment complex or somewhere that has a 240 plug to charge. So I did that. I did that for $600 in 3 days. 3 days, I had it rented to somebody that saw the change in the listing. They signed a 2-year agreement.
Beautiful.
So the total cost, if you add the little bit of paint, the shutters, you can get those at Lowe's. I think they were $60 for a set. I spent a little over $1,100, and I got 3 units rented in less than 2 weeks.
This is the power of small upgrades, like you say, reserves, thinking ahead. I think more landlords, certainly in B and A class areas, should be thinking EV chargers. Again, they're not everywhere, but the key to getting a great tenant is to offer something no one else has. And I can tell you honestly, none of my units have EV chargers, and probably some of them should.
It's the way to think through now. I have began from that one, my first property. I said, I missed that. So everyone going forward, I add a 240 plug to all my builds, which at the build time, it's maybe $400 in the build.
Yeah.
It is adding so much to the single families, to the multifamilies. It's just part of it. And it distinguishes me something different than most of the other people don't have. Oh, and there is an increasing rental population that has EVs to save cost for fuel. They are wanting this.
Yeah, you know what, Brandon? I'm going to ask you to do something for me. Please post this in the school community today. Just say, you can even ask questions. Hey, any of you ever thought about adding an EV charger in Texas? It costs us $600. Because again, I think in a world where there's more rentals, if you have that one unique thing, it's an easy yes answer. And
in a lot of the MLS, they have a couple of check boxes so that when they're searching, they can see it based off of the ability to charge their car. They have a specific check box in MLS.
Love it. Folks, if you haven't figured out already, our school community at $20 a month, 67 pennies a day is the place to be if you are an everyday wealth builder. You're going to get real stuff like this all the time. 8 different accountability groups, free education, Saturday light. It's just all kinds of good stuff. Get in there. Also, we got our Vegas event where Brandon will be one of the featured speakers telling you how he's making real estate work today. Brandon, give us our closing thoughts.
You know, this can be done. You have multiple opportunities. When you buy or evaluate properties, always look at low market rents. The way I evaluate my purchases is I do low market rents at 5% below average. I'm looking for me, it's a 9% cash on cash return. And then I also do break even analysis. So I'm looking at break even analysis at least 15% below average market rents. This is how you keep real estate for the long term to create wealth. We're not teaching wealth for just today. This is a decade, and for long-term wealth, it's multiple decades. Underwriting it right, not expecting it to be perfect. You need to underwrite to mitigate risk.
Absolutely, folks. At the end of the day, one rental at a time is trying to help you become wealthy. We talk about it being a decade. The first 5 years sucks. If you want to replace your income tomorrow, I am not your guy. But if you want to get wealthy, I can help. Check out our school community. Brandon, you're amazing. Take care.
Thank you, Michael.